All right, so I have one article for you today from The Advocate, and we should just end 2025 on a crap note because, why not? It's not like 2025 was a good year or anything. So let's get to the article. Kazakhstan bans so-called LGBTQ plus propaganda. And I'm sure it's a heaping helping of bullshit. Alright. The Central Asian country of Kazakhstan has joined its neighbor Russia in banning so-called LGBTQ plus propaganda. So now we know it's bullshit. President Kasim Yomart Tokayev signed a bill to that effect into law Tuesday, news service and Anadolu agency reports. It bans pedophilia propaganda as well, which, who propagandizes pedophilia? According to the service. Punishment for violations include a fine of 144,500 Kazakh tinga, whatever, 200 or 280 US dollars, jailing for up to 10 days. Kazakh citizens had submitted a petition about a year and a half ago urging the government to ban anything considered pro-LGBTQ propaganda. The Senate had passed the bill December 18th, and the lower chamber of parliament, the Majlis, approved it in November. Or is it Majlis? I'm not sure. When the Senate was considering the legislation, Senator Ruslan Rustamov described it as banning the use of media, literature, entertainment, and other events that promote non-traditional sexual relations and pedophilia. So that's why this article put pedophilia propaganda in quotes, because they are considering homosexuality and pedophilia to be the same damn thing, which anybody with a brain knows it is not. But, bigots will bigot. According to Kazakh's news outlet Vlast.kz, as translated by The Diplomat, a news magazine covering the Asia-Pacific region. An analysis of international experience shows that many countries around the world have adopted legislation that ensures the protection of national values and traditions, including those that provide for the protection of the institution of the traditional family, Rustamov said. Right, because as we all know, every place where gay marriage is allowed, same-sex heterosexual marriage doesn't exist anymore. So, ever since the U.S., ever since Obergefell was passed and same-sex marriage was allowed, heterosexual marriages ceased to exist. And in Canada, even longer. I mean, doesn't that make absolute sense? What the hell here, guys? Nobody is threatening your marriage. My question is, does Kazakhstan allow for divorce? If they do, then their claiming about protecting traditional marriage is bullshit. Because what's the biggest threat to traditional marriage? Divorce. I mean, what are we doing? Vice Minister of Justice Botakaz Zaxelis, oh my God, I'm never going to get through this. Zaxelekova tried to split hairs, the diplomat notes, saying LGBTQ plus identity will not be illegal, but public promotion of LGBT rights will be. So, yeah, that's a distinction without a difference. How exactly? So basically, you're saying that as long as gay people get together behind private doors, behind in their own bedrooms, then it'll magically be okay. But they can't do anything to promote it, like hold hands or, mention that their boyfriend or girlfriend exists or something. Seriously, what is public promotion of LGBT rights? Actually, the fact that you're upset with them having rights kind of deflates your declaration that it wouldn't be illegal. How this doesn't violate Kazakh citizens' basic constitutional rights to the freedom of expression and association isn't clear, the Diplomat's reporter commented. I can tell you how this doesn't violate it, because it does. It's not that it isn't clear, it violates it. An international coalition of human rights organizations had condemned the legislation while it was pending. Access Now, Civil Rights Defenders, Eurasian Coalition on Health Rights, Gender and Sexual Diversity, Helsinki Foundation for Human Rights, Human Rights Watch, International Partnership for Human Rights, and Norwegian Helsinki Committee issued a statement against the measure in November, saying it would violate fundamental human rights and increase the vulnerability of lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, intersex, and other queer people in Kazakhstan. Because of course it will. The only people who think that this isn't going to make their existence illegal are the ones who desperately want to prove that they aren't, in fact, bigots. Because how exactly do you think, especially since this is a petition by a bunch of citizens, or at least so they claim, where this will just give them carte blanche to attack people for being LGBT plus. I don't see where you figure that someone with the knowledge that certain people are a part of the community and they're bigots, so they will attack them. Why you don't think that will happen? I mean, this is giving them carte blanche to claim that someone is being publicly promoting LGBT plus rights when they don't necessarily have to be, because they just are existing. Anyway, adopting an LGBT propaganda ban would blatantly violate Kazakhstan's international human rights commitments, including children's rights to education, health, and information, the statement continued. Discriminatory and rights-violating provisions like those being proposed have no place in any democratic society, which Kazakhstan aspires to be. Kazakhstan's government additionally has been interfering with journalists in the nation, searching their offices and detaining reporters, and the LGBTQ plus propaganda law will only make this worse, said a December press release from Human Rights Watch and 8 other groups. It is a direct threat not only to people identifying as LGBTI or lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and intersex, but also to journalists, academics, artists, human rights defenders, and civil society actors who risk administrative sanctions for reporting on or advocating for the rights of these groups or for expressing positive views of LGBTI rights publicly or online, the release pointed out. What's more, it goes against Kazakhstan's constitution, which guarantees freedom of expression, and directives from international bodies such as the United Nations, the organization added. But, just take the U.S., for example. We have that in our Constitution, too. Do you think our current administration gives a shit? No, they do not. So, yeah, this is just them backsliding on democracy, just like we are. But anyway, let me break this down. Let's see. The fact that they are clamping down on journalism like the U.S. is doing, obviously, that's a red flag. So, of course, they are going after people who dare to accept that LGBT plus people exist. So, yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. They can't even acknowledge that they are totally cool with it, with the LGBT plus community. But, they're part of, I don't know, is Kazakhstan a part of the EU or just the United Nations? I'm not sure. But either way, they're just basically saying, yeah, we want to be part of the international community, but we want to be bigots whenever we want. And I don't care if the majority of the country thinks that there is something wrong with the LGBT plus community. Doesn't matter. Just human rights should exist regardless of whether other people think that they should exist. That is one thing that should not be up to a vote. We shouldn't vote for whether certain people have rights simply because you find them icky. But there was something else I wanted to mention. Oh, where is it? Oh, where was it? There was something I wanted to mention. Oh, yes. Now, okay, it's one thing to go after the LGBT plus community. How do you go after intersex people? That is, even if you grant that all the other things are choices, where's the choice to be intersex? There literally is none. The whole definition of intersex is you have sexual characteristics of both male and female. This isn't something that you just decided one day to add. This is something you were born with. So even if you grant that all the other letters of that alphabet are choice, how do you do that for intersex? This makes even less sense. But anyway, that is the end of that article. So yeah, not great. Not great at all. So with that, I believe that's all I have for this video. So I will see you guys in the next one.